From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Riesinger. Thousands of Billings Public School students returned to the classroom today for the first time in 5 months. And for the first time, masks are on the school supply list. COVID-19 certainly changed a lot about the school day, from block schedules to distance learning. Billings School District 2 Superintendent Greg Upham said students were excited to be back learning in person for the first time since last school year, and that came to an abrupt end. In his visits to several schools today, Upham said teachers saw no problems getting students to wear their masks while in the classroom. While the school district is pleased with the first day under its belt, there's still a lot of the school year left to go, obviously.
I was really pleased today, the masking. The students were outstanding, all the way from our high school students down to our elementary age students. Our staff said they were very, very pleased with the masking. Challenges with physical distancing, which we knew, not so much in the schools, but just students touching, or not touching students, but being in proximity out on the playground at lunchtime. So we'll have to keep working with our students about physical distancing.
Remote learning students will start their classes next Monday, but they will have a virtual meet and greet with the teachers coming up this Friday. That announcement last week from Yellowstone County Health Officer John Felton that high school and middle school sports will go on but without fans in the stands has received a lot of mixed feelings and strong reaction about how events will be handled. Tonight, Felton will address concerns during a Facebook Live event. That'll take place from 6:30 until 7:30. The public had until noon today to submit questions to be answered. According to Felton, the goal is to help the public understand the decision-making process and the considerations that went into planning. And we will be carrying this live starting at 6:30 on Q2's Facebook page, and we'll have more on it tonight at 10 as well. Well, just days into a new school year, kids in Shepherd are already being told to stay home because of COVID-19. Classes are canceled for the next 2 days following a positive case. Schools will now undergo a deep cleaning. The district planned to check out laptops to students in case a situation like this came up. However, now that will have to wait. The superintendent says teachers will contact students about homework. And there are several new deaths to report when it comes to Montana's fight against COVID-19. The virus has claimed the lives of 2 more people here in Yellowstone County, bringing the number of people who have passed away here in the county from COVID-related deaths to 36 now. A death was also reported in Flathead County, as well as the second so far in Stillwater County. The total number of deaths in the state stands at 93. Active cases around the state number more than 1,500, with more than half of those active cases right here in Yellowstone County. Well, crews continue to tackle a wildfire that broke out west of Bozeman near Norris Hot Springs. What started off as a 100-acre fire has now burned more than 1,700 acres. Today, crews continue to work on putting flames out. They're working on burn operations to help secure the area. Officials say the cause of the Bradley Creek fire remains unknown. The Department of Natural Resources and Conservation reports the fire is about 20% contained. And the Lone Star fire in Yellowstone National Park, about 3 miles south of Old Faithful, is now estimated at 300 acres. It was started by lightning this past Saturday. It is not burning toward Old Faithful. The road between Old Faithful and West Thumb is closed temporarily because of smoke from the fire. There are other closures of campsites and trails in that area. And as those fires continue to burn, you can still see the haze in the sky out there. Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire shares how it's affecting our air quality.
Yeah, one picture is worth 1,000 words. Let me just burn 1,000 words right now. Look at this. This is from the iCam, and as you can see, you're looking out over the Yellowstone River, and yeah, it is smoky there by Sacrifice Cliffs, and visibility was, it's actually up now to 7 miles, but earlier this afternoon it was already all the way down to 3 miles. That's how bad the smoke was. Meanwhile, let's move on and show you what's happening. You see all the smoke is rotating around this high pressure cell. It's coming from the California fires going up into the Great Basin area, into southern Montana, and as you can see, it's actually starting to move a little bit farther north towards the High Line. They actually had some kind of fairly clear skies there, but that's not the case now. And as you will notice here, we still have this air quality warning in the western part of the state until 4 p.m. Tuesday, and even in northern Wyoming, we have air quality issues there until 3 p.m. on Tuesday as well. Kind of the same deal. Now, let's take a look at the air quality. Here in the Billings area, our air quality is considered good to moderate, but other places where we see the orange dots, that's where we have unhealthy air, especially for those who are sensitive groups. It's actually getting pretty hard to breathe across western and southwestern Montana. We'll have your forecast in a few more minutes.
All right, thank you, Bob. In Montana's 2020 race for governor, you've been hearing a lot about the sales tax as an issue between Republican Greg Gianforte and Democrat Mike Cooney. But as MTN's Mike Dennison reports, their positions on a statewide sales tax are pretty much the same.
Lieutenant Governor Mike Cooney, who's running for governor, doesn't mince words when it comes to his opposition to a sales tax.
No sales tax, no statewide sales tax. Not today, not 2 years from now, not ever.
And his main opponent, Republican Congressman Greg Gianforte, essentially says the same.
I've been very clear. I would veto it if it came to my desk. Montanans have been very clear. We've had a number of referendums. Montanans don't want a sales tax.
Yet Cooney and fellow Democrats continue to accuse Gianforte of supporting or advocating for a statewide sales tax.
On this, my opponent and I could not disagree more. After Montanans rejected a statewide sales tax twice, Greg Gianforte called a state sales tax in Montana an ideal solution.
Yes, he did, 18 years ago, when speaking to a governor's advisory council about how Montana could cut its taxes on income and capital gains to attract more business development to the state. But when he ran for governor in 2016 and again this year, Gianforte has said repeatedly that he opposes a sales tax. That opposition also is in Gianforte's state business plan released last month. We asked Cooney why we shouldn't take Gianforte at his word that he opposes the very tax that Cooney opposes.
He's not telling the truth, and it's just that simple. He's trying to change now to protect his political career. I mean, let me put it this way. This is a guy who lied to the police after he assaulted a reporter. Why should Montanans believe him on anything?
There is a legislative panel examining state tax reform that will meet Tuesday to look at sales tax options. But the chairman of that panel, Representative Alan Redfield of Livingston, told MTN News Monday that he said the committee is wasting its time since both gubernatorial candidates have said they would veto any sales tax bill. Gianforte calls the Democratic allegation that he supports a sales tax complete fabrication. I'm sure we can find plenty of policy differences between Mr. Gianforte and Mr. Cooney, but on the sales tax, there's not a lot. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Cooney has also said he's organizing a drive for a 2022 voter initiative to place a sales tax ban in Montana's state constitution. An Amber Alert search continues for a 6-month-old Flathead County baby. Lucas Warner from Columbia Falls was taken by his non-custodial father, Andrew Warner, and Haley Emerson. Andrew is reportedly bipolar and off his medication. Now, authorities want the public to watch for a white early 2000s Chevy extended pickup with unknown plates. They could possibly be headed to the Bob Marshall Wilderness, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Wyoming. If you've got any information, you're asked to call 911. Montana's tourism industry might not be seeing the complete pandemic devastation many feared. However, University of Montana researchers say it's still one of the worst tourism years in a decade. Even though campgrounds are still filling up and more out-of-state license plates are being seen in the state, sit-down restaurants are still hurting, but tourists could stick around into the fall.
I would anticipate, though, as we have folks around the country that are less likely to fly, their driving distance is increasing a little bit, and their willingness to drive is out there.
And another bright spot has been visits at Yellowstone and Glacier, but another challenge has been hiring seasonal workers. All right, up next on the 5:30 news here on Q2 with kids back to hitting the books. Many families are in search of after-school programs. Our Jay Cohn looks at a few services being offered. And in sports, the loss of one Grizz coach suddenly equals the loss of two. Brian Schwain reveals details of his recent resignation. Stay with us.